Okay, now that we have our vertex, we can start graphing some other points. So I erased this box to make more room, and I can do that since this is recording, and I magically just erased it, and now here I am again. Okay, so we have our vertex point, so let's go ahead and graph it. 1, -7. So we go over 1 and down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's our vertex. It's sitting on the axis of symmetry, which is x is 1. That's our axis. Our vertex is 1, -7. Just so happens, remember we said our C is our y-intercept, so we can go ahead and graph that. C is -5. So let's go on our y-axis. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We know that our parabola is going to go through the y-axis right there. And we also know that the other part of this ordered pair is 0 because it's not traveling anywhere on the x-axis. So our y-intercept point is going to be 0, -5. And so up here in the box, let's go back to our directions really fast. I said to find your axis of symmetry, which we did. We use that to find our vertex, and then find the next two integers lower than the number you just found and write them, and then find the next two integers that are higher than the number that you just found. So let's go back and see what in the world does that mean. Well, we already have the one that's lower, and now let's go even lower. And then let's go higher, so we're going to go 1 and then 2, 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this -1. So we're using our function. So when x is -1, what is y? All right, so I'm going to write it down here. Y is equal to, all I'm doing here is just plugging in my value. -1 squared minus 4 times -1 minus 5. Okay, this is where order operations. We have to remember, what do we do first? Exponents. We have to do exponents before we can do any of this multiplication. So -1 squared. So -1 times -1 is a +1. That's what you guys just said out loud. I know it. So +1 times 2 is 2. Minus 4 times -1 is -4. So minus -4 minus 5. So 2 minus -4 is the same thing as 2 plus 4. And that's 6 minus 5 is 1. So when x is -1, in this quadratic function, y is 1. Okay, so here's the cool thing, and this is why these arrows are here. So what do you suppose this is going to be? Well, we can see that over here, when it's 2 points away from our vertex, we had a 1 here. Well, looky here, 2 points away from our vertex, there's 1. So this is going to be -5. And so just for grins, let's check it. Let's pretend we didn't know that, or I didn't tell you that. And so let's just plug in 2 into our function. I'll do it right here. So y equals 2 times 2 squared minus 4 times 2 minus 5. And so y is equal to 2 squared is 4, and 2 times 4 is 8, minus 4 times 2 is 8, minus 5, and looky there, 8 minus 8 is 0, minus 5, and that equals -5. Ding, ding. So now we get to come over and put in all of our points to complete our parabola. So we already have our vertex, we already have our y-intercept. Let's go ahead and graph -1, 1. There's -1, 1. 2, negative 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. Boom, look at that. Our axis of symmetry is here, and we're done. So my hope is that you guys can play around with some of these. There are lots of examples. We can talk through them tomorrow, but maybe try to at least get these notes in your hand, and we can see where we are tomorrow. Adios.